here. It's big. And it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.
Hello and welcome to Live at the Bike. I'm David Tuckman. This is Nicole Juergens to my side, and we are here for a fantastic 5-5 game, 300 to 1,000. First off, how are you?
I'm good. Thank
Good
you.
to hear you.
And I'm eating again, so Dave's going to yell at me. I'm just
Surprise.
going to let everyone know.
Seriously, you got pregnant like 2.5 years ago, and you haven't stopped eating since you got pregnant.
I may or may not be pregnant again, but it's not confirmed yet.
Really?
So then you can stop yelling at me to
Wow.
eat again.
Some news here revealed. Breaking news here on Live at the Bike. We are brought to you by Poker Netcast, brought to you by Joker Gaming, brought to you by the fine people here at the Bicycle Casino. And, of course, I want to thank Card Player for a fantastic show on Wednesday night. If you haven't seen that show, check it out in the archives. It was 25-50 blinds, $5 ante, and we had some huge pots. The play was a little bit nitty, to be honest, and I was hoping for a little bit more wide-open game, but we had some really big hands.
Woods,
We had some huge hands.
Wow.
And by the way, at the end of the show, right when the show ended, we missed this hand. Phil Locke actually doubled up Dan Smith in quite a big pot, about a $21,000 pot. We missed that just off the air. I'll talk about the details later on. But thank you for spending your Friday night with us. Let's get to the table.
Over there in seat 1, we have Mark. And this is, I believe, looking at the chip stacks, it's going to be a 300 to 1,000, 5-5 no limit game. That's Mark. He has a little over 300 in front of him, so he bought in for the min. Next to him is Gabe. If that's the Gabe that we know. Nope, that's not the Gabe that we know. The other Gabe who smokes the electronic cigarette.
This is the Gabe that I know. I mean, I play with Gabe a lot. He's
not the electronic cigarette Gabe, though, right?
No, he's a different. No, this guy is.
It is him?
Yeah.
Oh, he just has more hair than last time. Last time he had, like, literally bald head.
Rogaine.
Well, Propecia, right?
Propecia, Rogaine, who knows? Anyway, he's a really good guy, actually. I've become friendly with him, and we play, and I don't know if he's a professional poker player or he just fancies himself as one, but he does play a lot. I mean, this is a guy who probably plays 5 days a week and will kind of troll from casino to casino, but does play this game. Doesn't generally play bigger than this, but more often than, I mean, he's a fairly good player. He's fairly solid.
Well, he has 1,600 in front of him right now, so if he bought in for the max, he is currently up about 600. Next to him is Jacob in seat 3. Jacob has about 720 in front of him.
That's Jacob.
Oh, yeah.
Jacob.
Last time David called him Jacob.
Jacob.
It's Jacob. I saw him play on here once. He was a little more, he was actually probably one of the most active players, not in a bad way, just a lot of 3-betting pre-flop and playing in his positions. We'll see if that's how he plays again today.
Jacob.
Seat 4 is Sujit.
That's actually shit. That's how you pronounce his name.
Sujit started with a little over 700 today. Seat 5 is Brian. Brian has 1,000. I don't recognize Brian. Have you played with him?
No, I haven't.
New player to Live at the Bike. And
I have
perhaps
not. He has
even the
pulled
bike.
his hair to the side very, very strongly.
No, in the back. He has a bun right in the back.
Oh, okay.
With the butt
He's going
cut.
for that like Revolutionary War look.
Or like hippie, right?
Okay.
Or
Buy
that
it,
too,
buy
right?
it. He's got a Toad shirt on. Toad. Oh, I like. Are you old enough to like Toad Bar Sprockets?
I've heard of them, but I don't know what they say.
Oh, they've got some good music. This is old school though. TWS. Toad. They're good. That like brings me back to like. Toad brings me back to like early college.
Well, next to him is Fred. Is that our Fred? I assume.
That is our Fred.
That is our Fred.
Of course, it's our Fred. He's eating.
He is 1,500 in front of him, so he's up 500 at this table currently.
Well, you don't know that. He could have bought him for 2,000.
This is true, but from
could be a
where
second
we've
buy-in.
started, he's up 500.
Fair enough.
Seat 7 is Robert. He has about 770 in front of him. A little look of consternation on his face.
Or constipation.
Or constipation, whatever you want. JCW is here. He's playing in this hand right now. He has about 900 in front of him.
That's John, yeah. John's he's been playing a lot of PLO lately, and John and I have become friendly. He's a really good guy. I like John a lot. Good poker player. He's unconventional. He plays his own style. This is a guy who was in Macau for a few months playing poker. Ended up coming back here. Plays poker here all the time. We'll play PLO. We'll play No Limit. We'll even play Mexican Mexican poker, no
Wow.
limit. Yeah, he'll play a little bit. Whatever the game is good, he'll play. So he was playing PLO the last couple of nights.
And last but not least, that's Leo over there in seat 9. We've seen him. He can be quite an action player sometimes, which is fun to watch.
Yeah, Leo's a lot of fun to play with.
So we are in the middle of a hand. Let's see if we have...
I think that's a lot of the case. I mean, Barry does not like to get bluffed. He doesn't want to look stupid, and he feels like people are bluffing him. And I think Barry just got to realize that he gets bluffed a lot less than he thinks he does.
I think most people could realize that, actually.
Your opponents are bluffing you less than you think they are. Unless, of course, they're me, and then I'm always bluffing you. That's why you should pay me off.
That's the thing, is that we fall into this trap, and I do sometimes too. We're thinking like, oh, geez, they're bluffing. And then in the end, though, most of the time they are not. And number two, even if they bluff you one time, so what? You can find a better spot. A set here for Mark. 7-3-9 is the flop. There's Mark.
And case 7 out there. And unfortunately for Mark, I mean, there's just not a ton of, nobody really has much. I mean, Sujit's got middle pair. And he's going to call at least one time, but obviously Fred's not going to get involved. Although, actually, Fred's got bottom pair.
And they all have a little bit of something.
Yeah, I mean, he's got bottom pair. I mean, he might think that if he hits a 3 or an ace, he's good. And Fred actually is still in there. And, wow, what a turn card. And it's the heart. It's a huge turn card for action because Mark's got a set. Fred now with top and bottom pair. Sujit with a pair and a flush draw. Oh, wow. And if I'm Mark, there's no way I'm slow playing this. There's just no way I'm slow playing
well,
this.
Well, Mark only has like 300 behind.
Yeah.
So he's going to get it in for sure. Sujit bets out.
And Mark literally has about $300. It says stack 235, but he's got a little bit more than that. And there's the raise. So Sujit leads out. Mm-hmm. Fred raises. Obviously, Mark, just get it in, dude. You got $300. Mark can get it in, and it's going to go back to Sujit, and then it's just really a math question. The problem with Sujit is he's got to realize my 2 pair might not be good, and my trips might not even be good. If he's just thinking that he's got a naked flush draw, he can probably let this go.
Mark took a little pause to play a little Hollywood for both of his opponents, then does get it in.
Now it's back over. The raise is not enough. Actually, the raise is actually less. Mark's all in is less than Fred's original raise. So it's 225 now to win 895. So you're getting 4-1. And that's just a matter of, okay, you're getting 4-1. Sujit probably can make this call because he's getting 4-1 plus implied odds. He is drawing to the nuts.
The only problem is that, the opponent right behind him did raise him originally. So he's got to be prepared for the fact that now that opponent can now set him in as well.
No, Fred can't. Remember, the raise is not large enough. Fred's original raise was to 325.
Oh, you're right.
Mark's all in.
Excuse me.
Was actually less than that.
Yep.
So here's the river, and it's a 6 of spades. It's a complete blank. And obviously, if you're Mark, it's an easy check. If you're Sujit, it's an easy check fold.
Yep. Fred goes all in. Sujit's going to fold, I assume. And there's going to be no side pot if that's the case.
Yeah, and then this is just obviously, if you're Sujit, no need in being a hero. There's no side pot. You can't beat the guy in seat 1 anyway. Let it go. This is never a bluff from Fred. Because there's a guy all in already, and there's no side pot.
Yeah, is he really thinking, or is he just playing it up? Yeah, he lets it go. And just like that, Mark triples up.
Yeah, low ball advice. Well, there's poker theory advice in general. I remember I used to read when I first started playing limit and stuff. I mean, I'd read like Roy Cook's Limit Hold'em, and he still actually writes. He still writes the limit.
He does. Actually, his is one of the only articles I read I like, just because as a writer, he has a 1-page, quick, usually easy, fun to read article that you can learn something from, even though I'm not a limit player. Raise from Mark on the button.
See, and Dapper Dave's point on this is exactly what the problem is. He goes, Bart, I have faith they'll score big in the first week, and it won't be an issue regarding, paying a lot of money for an apartment. And I think that's the big issue. I think a lot of people overvalue how good they overrate how good they are. And they arrogantly think, oh, whatever, I'm gonna make thousands upon thousands at the tournament. Who cares if I pay an extra $1,000 or an extra $2,000 for a hotel, for a condo or for a house? And they don't realize that that's all part of their, that's all part of their. If this is your job, negotiating a good rate for where you're staying, whether it's a condo, whether it's a hotel room, whether it's a house for the summer, negotiating a good rate is part of that business.
I'm surprised that they are still going up this year. You would think at some point it would level off.
It's just, that's what it kind of boggles the mind. Like the same guy, the same poker player who will tank on a river $80 bet will gladly pay $3,000 extra for a house.
Well, that happened. I mean, I think Ernest EA in our live chat brought that up. I mean, that's a big part of it. There's just a general non-conception of the dollar. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, you'll see people at the poker table who can't tip for water. You know, they want to bum one of your waters because they don't want to give $1, but then, they're playing with $20,000 on the table. It's just different.
Jacob bet 2 streets here with a draw, and doesn't hit his draw, but does hit the jack. And I think you can bet this if you're Jacob. I mean, I don't think there's any reason why not. You wouldn't be betting this. It's one of my favorite things, actually, to do is when you miss a draw, like let's say you had a queen-high flush draw, but you hit the queen, go ahead and bet it. Let them think you missed your draw. You might actually get looked up.
Looks like Jacob is going to do just that.
But sure enough, there's the bet. He bets 90. And let's see if Mark Hero calls him. No, Mark's going to give this one up, and we move on. No, it is. I mean, I think a lot of poker players. I mean, you talk to Jeff Madsen. We'll have Jeff Madsen in the booth, occasionally, and he is evidence to this, where he says, I won $1 million, and obviously.
It sounds like it wasn't in contention anyways, but now you can say it's because of the money.
Is Gabe playing any hands tonight? Come on, Gabe, step up, man.
Gabe doesn't normally play very many hands.
I know not very many, but I mean 7 VPIP? 7?
That's normal. That's right. He played that one hand, I think, that he actually made like 700 in. Ace, Queen, 9s, and Kings. We're on to Brian now, so he's facing a raise.
Yeah, Marco's the raiser. Leo is a 3-better. Brian now. Brian's he's fairly deep. He's got 200 big blinds. Leo, the effective Leo only 720. This is another one of those spots where you don't have to make a huge raise to get the rest of the field out. Back over to Mark, and an ace-queen clubs, it looks pretty, but I think he's got to let that one go, and he easily does. Back over to Leo, and sometimes this is the issue, of course, with raising with 9s. You really want to see a flop with 9s, and now you've made it a lot more expensive.
Poor Leo, he gets himself into these spots all the time.
Bart is still in there arguing with people about rates. And Leo calls.
He's arguing with me. I'm ignoring him.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, I'm ignoring him.
Don't argue with her. She's pregnant. This is great. So I leave home for a pregnant woman to come here to deal with a pregnant woman?
Yeah.
Can't get away from them.
Please, we have to deal with you guys all the time.
10, 8, 8, and this is the kind of flop that Leo might get himself in trouble with. I mean,
well, he's already gotten himself in trouble by bloating up the massive pot.
He checks,
with 9s.
and if you're Brian, you can bet this. This is not like that king. This is not like that queen deuce deuce when he had. I mean, king deuce deuce when you have aces. I mean, I think with kings you're going to bet this. And you want to bet an amount that can kind of price your opponent in to make a mistake. So you don't bet so much that 9s are forced to fold. So you bet 200 in the 375. That's okay. I might even bet less than that. I might bet 160.
Playtime 007 says, I guess there's no ambassador discount for Bart.
Don't think we won't try.
I don't think that you have chance in the family.
You know what? Honestly, she is one of. I am a huge Jennifer Tilly fan.
Yeah, we talked about this.
The amazing thing
Gorgeous
is for
and
54,
nice.
she's 54.
I know. And she's amazing. If you see her in person, you're just like, no way. She's
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Chicago Yankees 750 is not a cheap TV in a flyover country. Nice humble brag. No, but you know what I mean. I'm not saying that I went out, but I didn't go out and buy a $300 TV. I'm saying I could have gone out and spent a lot more money on a TV. I buy my furniture at IKEA.
You can't win because I thought the same thing, but I said I'm not going to press it anymore.
But $750 for a TV is not fun.
You're a diva. That's all there is to it.
You're telling me $750 for a TV for a 51-inch TV is a lot of money?
You have a 51-inch TV. I mean, you can't be like, oh, I didn't even go buy the best of the best. I only have a 51-inch TV.
No, but there are smart TVs out there that are like $2,800 now.
I wasn't going to press it, but Chicago Yancey brought it up.
Kings again. These Kings are like stuck together or something.
And this time with Robert.
We've had Kings like 9 times tonight. It's crazy. And apparently Arisawa is 425 omakase. I don't think $700 for a TV is. And like I said, I buy my furniture at IKEA. Is that a lot too? I spent like $400 on $350 on a couch. Is that a lot of money?
I just got a super cute TV stand from IKEA, but man, and it's cheap. But you have to put that shit together. I mean, you have to be like a college. Good thing I have a college degree because putting those things together, you take them out of a box like the size of a jewelry box, and then you put together a TV stand.
I'm not gonna lie.
Holy crap!
I'm not gonna lie. Molly puts all that shit together.
I do too.
I can't do it.
It
drives me insane.
It's the roles are reversed now. I have to do that for everything, and I'm just
the
like,
best
man,
thing is
this
I'll
sucks.
bitch about it. But
you won't do it. Yeah.
I'll bitch about it, and then Molly looks at me and goes, "Why are you bitching?
You're
I'm
not
gonna put
doing
it together."
Yeah, I know. He's just like Tad. Same thing. I had to put absolutely the crib, everything together.
The funny thing is I'm sort of handy. Like I can do things when I'm problem solving, but I hate following the directions.
Guys are that way. That's the problem. So
Like,
then
if you
they
told
just
me-
try to do it, but these days things are too intense. You can't do it without
but
directions.
if you told me if Molly said, "Oh, we need to,"
Ivy, and
that's not their place. That's an extra place for them, so they can not just chill.
Yeah.
And if you walk into their RVs, it's basically the RVs that the NASCAR guys have. They're like $2 million RVs. Hama says, I was surprised they did not give you a place while you were there last year. Last year I brought my dog, so I specifically said to them, I said, okay, I'd like to, I want to go find a house. So Bart and I found a crappy condo where I could actually bring my dog. This year though, I'm not bringing my dog, so who knows?
So maybe
And like I
they will
said,
give
I
you a
don't
place.
normally want to stay in a hotel room for 6 weeks, but if that's the case, if that's what we have to do, that's what we have to do. Ace Jack 8 Rainbow, and Mark with top pair, Jacob with bottom pair and a backdoor flush draw.
Fred was 7 high, and he bets 50. Mark gonna look him up. I sent the
Actually,
check. Yeah, Fred bet.
yeah, Fred's going to check here now, give up. Fred drawing dead. I like the check back by Mark. I really don't mind it at all. But he's got to bet this now. I mean, you're checking back so you can get value on the river from a jack, from pocket tens, from pocket queens even.
Fred's like, definitely not my night.
Well, housing we could. Yeah, do not rent from Spencer Chan. Do not rent from Spencer Chan. So that is the case. And it's one of those cases again this year. So, obviously, if I got hired by the World Series of Poker to cover it again this year, they would give me a stipend to take care of my housing, but I would be responsible for finding such housing.
Uh-huh.
Internet was losing money like crazy because of dropouts.
And you're like,
stuff.
what did I do?
And oh, my buddy Sam's here. And Don's actually. A lot of what Don was saying here I was reading, I agree with. And I never made it to Koh Samui. My visa was running low. I had the wrong visa. I just hadn't planned it well enough. I was debating upon going to India just to travel.
Because the Wi-Fi is really good in India?
Well, they have casinos in Goa now.
Huh. There you go.
3-bet from Mark with Ace King.
Sounds like a movie, like Searching for Wi-Fi.
And then what
wasn't
happened?
West.
You met your wife?
No. I'd known about Macau, but before I left, I felt like I had to make a choice between Koh Samui or Macau or Australia, because Australia has casinos as well. I chose the Koh Samui route because I was playing so much online, but once I got there, it's so cheap to fly from Thailand to Macau. I just checked one day, and it was like $120, and like one day later, I was in Macau. I just saw how cheap it was. Because before, when I was leaving, it was so priced, it was $1,200 here, $1,700 here,
Mm-hmm.
But once I got down there and I saw I could just get out of this country for $120.
I don't quite understand this play by Brian. Brian was the pre-flop raiser. Did Mark just call?
No, Mark 3-bet and Brian
He did 3-bet.
called.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
why I was looking at JCW. That makes more sense. Because if you're going to raise with 7-8, why would you not bet on a 10-6 3-board where you actually flopped a gut shot? But Mark obviously 3-bet this. Mark is just, Mark's played really solid. He hasn't really mixed it up too much. I mean, he's got actually a nice 17 VPIP with 17-14. This is a look at Brian.
Oh, I see. VPIP's over here.
VPIP and free flop raise percentage. It's such a small sample size. Obviously, it sometimes doesn't work. Either way, though, Brian is going to give that one up. Mark takes it down. Okay.
So I went to Macau, and I liked it there. I started dating a girl. I was very successful in Macau. I played the $12, $17 an hour playing poker. I mean, I was...
Awfully tough to raise a kid on minimum wage.
Yeah.
Well, in LA, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I was beyond minimum wage and after the
Right,
first
right.
few
But even
years,
$12 an hour,
yeah,
raising a family
$17.
is going to be tough.
Yeah, so I really stepped up my game, studied, but studied beyond what I studied before, and I'd always studied, but really started studying the other loose, aggressive players.
Mm-hmm.
Because there have been times I can adjust tight, although it gets tougher these days because I see the weakness on people.
You sense it?
I sense it. Yeah, I'm much more a tactician. I'm much more making audibles in there than
Robert's the original raiser. I'm going to interrupt you for a second just because this is an interesting hand on a 10-8-4 rainbow board. Fred's actually got a hand that's actually pretty playable. He's got a gut shot with overcards, and the gut shot's the nuts. Little does he know, obviously, that he needs only one of 2 9s to hit the nuts because Mark's got a pair of 9s. He has the best hand right now. Jacob's got the overcards, and Robert with a pair of 8s. He is the original raiser. So we get a bet here from Mark, actually, with 9s as it gets checked to him. Frankly, I'm actually surprised that Robert didn't bet since he was the pre-flop raiser.
Fred's going to call.
Fred's going to call, obviously, with the gut shot and the overs. And Robert's going to call as well. See this one 3 ways to the turn. Turns a 3 of spades, and Fred's hand's getting more interesting as it go. Would you ever lead out if you're Fred there? You pick up a spade draw to go along with the gut shot and the overs? Doesn't look like it. This might get checked through.
He's out of position with the 2 callers. Probably not. If I was in later position, I would
Or
not,
heads up, I would, but I don't know about 3.
and I wouldn't with Robert because he's a non-believer. You wanna actually hit hands against him.
Mark's going to continue firing. And Fred's going to quickly call. I don't think he really even contemplated raising there. A raise there would be really, really strong, too, because the 3 of spades is rarely going to hit your opponent. It's rare that Robert, who is the pre-flop raiser, is rarely going to have a very big hand here. And I think a check raise there from Fred, I mean, obviously I can see the cards. It's very easy for me, but I do think a check raise there from Fred looks extremely strong.
I agree with you. I don't think Fred doesn't typically from my experience with him, he typically doesn't think about that. But
He does make, I mean, he will make the occasional move with a hand like that. I just think in this particular spot, remember, the original raiser was Robert. So Mark rarely has aces, kings, queens. You know, I mean, does he have, I mean, I guess he has sets in his range. Yes, he does. But he's also got just a lot of jack tens in his range.
yeah.
And I think you can get those out. You can fold those out a lot.
I don't know. I didn't follow the action exactly, but I might have just called, or Fred may have considered that Robert was in the hand. And again, he's hoping to make a hand and get Robert to pay him off. Because you can bet big against Robert and get calls.
I just didn't think Robert had I don't think Robert has a very strong hand there very often, just because he's a pre-flop raiser. He check calls, it's a flop. I mean, to me, it looks like an ace-X or something like that, or maybe something random like a pair of eights or something like that. Exactly what he had. Once again, obviously, we can see the cards much easier for us, but hey.